Hey guys, Jared and Amanda here from Fit to Last with our latest webinar.
Hello everybody. We thought that this month we would bring you a really interesting topic that gets brought up so much with a lot of the clients that we train.
And across, I think, our entire industry too. I don't think there's a person that hasn't discussed this topic at some point.
Totally.
Or at least thought about it.
Today we're going to be talking all about weight loss and why we think that weight loss isn't actually your goal, and maybe there's some other things that you're not considering.
Yeah, I think definitely there's some other things that you're possibly not considering. So let's weigh in on this. And as always, we'd love to hear from you guys as well later about how you think and feel with this.
Totally.
So let's start off, we're going to address the elephant in the room.
Well, what do you think the elephant in the room today is, Jared?
Well, the elephant in the room is why. Literally the topic, why weight loss isn't my goal.
Yeah. Look, something that I have, I guess, addressed so often over the last 10 years of, being a personal trainer, especially with women, right, is that a lot of the time I get women who they kind of start wanting to train because weight loss.
Yeah. Would you say it's fair to say that is the most common reason people say they want to
It's common.
Start training?
It's definitely not the only reason, but it's common. Yeah, for sure. And what's something that I really, really try to focus on and get excited about, kind of rewiring my clients' brains, I guess, is being able to focus on a positive rather than a negative in terms of their goals. Now, what do I mean like that? I mean in quite a literal sense. So when we're talking about weight loss, if we focus on the word loss there, loss is a negative, right? It's something that you want to lose. I mean, hopefully when we lose something, like, you never kind of want to find it again, right? So if we're talking about weight, you never really want to find that again. But when we're talking about loss, it's a negative. You want to delete that from your life. So something that I like to kind of rewire with my clients is, what if we were able to change that to a positive, but, and I put this in quotation marks, losing weight is just kind of the byproduct of you achieving the positive. What do I mean by that? Well, what if we focused on a fitness goal? It was a gain. What if you wanted to be able to do 10 push-ups or 1 chin-up, or being able to add weight to your squats or your bench press, something like that. So we're actually gaining something. And what's really interesting is once we start focusing on those fitness goals and being able to improve on what they're doing with their training, the weight loss is just a byproduct of what happens.
And it's funny how quickly you achieve that byproduct when you're not actually focusing on it.
Yeah.
And you're not obsessing about it day after day after day after day, because the more you obsess on something and it consumes you, it's very easy to just fall off the wagon, I think, with that.
And I've seen this really, really work with my clients. Is it's really easy to get excited about achieving a goal and what you're going to gain and what you can celebrate, rather than what you're losing and focusing on, this number's not moving, I'm doing a terrible job, I'm a failure, nothing happened this week. By the way, it doesn't happen in 1 week. So yeah, I found it's a real warped mindset shift that really, really works.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I guess our culture has been shaped by the likes of Instagram and social media with all the inherent problems, shall we say, that come along with that, all the fake and the, like years ago when we used to airbrush all the magazine covers, except that now everybody can do that on their phone.
Totally. So I'd love to encourage you, and we're not saying that you can't have a goal of losing weight, which we're going to go into next. But what I'm saying is that I'd love to encourage you to focus on a positive goal, something that you can gain, where weight loss is just kind of like the byproduct of being able to achieve that thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes so much more fun and enjoyable to work towards your goal.
Wouldn't it be better to say, my goal is to be able to take the stairs every day at work 3 flights without feeling like I'm going to pass out halfway through? The way to get to that is going to incorporate weight loss naturally.
Totally.
But it's not the thing you're going to obsess over. So let's talk about the fact that, weight loss in and of itself is not always a good thing. Okay. There's a big difference between fat loss and weight loss. And we have talked about those in other webinars. But I want to focus now a little bit more about thinking of what our body is made up of. And in the world of fitness, we call that body composition. And you will have heard that, I'm sure, numerous times. There are scales that measure body composition. There are tests we can do for body composition. That ultimately is far more important than losing weight.
This is one of my favorite things to do about every 6 to 8 weeks with my clients that are really focused on, making a shift with
changing shape.
Yeah, basically making a shift with their body shape, right?
And that's probably the thing, isn't it? Changing shape rather than losing weight.
One of the funnest things I really love to show people is the numbers on these really fancy scales that I've got. And it measures so many things. So our body is made up of body fat, muscle mass, water.
Bones.
We've got density in our bones. We've got organs. We've got
blood. All kinds of things.
All sorts of things. And one of the coolest things that I really love showing people about every 6 to 8 weeks is how the numbers can move on the scale. And so if let's say they've been doing some training, they might come to me twice a week. We've tweaked a few things in their nutrition, starting to feel like they're gaining or, making progress with their training. Their clothes are fitting a little bit differently. And then they come and stand on my scale. And the first number that they see is the weight, which either hasn't changed or maybe it's gone up. And there's that instant feeling of being deflated, right? And so one of my favorite things is actually tracking the other numbers and showing them that over the time is, let's say, for example, we've been doing some strength training, that their muscle mass has gone up. They might have actually gained grams or kilos in muscle mass. Their body fat percentage has gone down. Their water percentage has gone up. Their bone density has gone up. And their metabolic age, so the age that their body is performing at, has gone down. All of those things can happen, which basically in a nutshell means that you are fitter, stronger, healthier, and your weight can stay the exact same.
It's literally turning back the clock on your body. But we are so conditioned and so trained these days to only focus on that one little thing. How much do you actually weigh? And it's funny when you talk to, and this happens probably a lot with men compared to women in this particular sense, but you often see a lot of men say they want to put weight on, always. I want to get a little bit bigger, and they when they focus on the scales and they're trying to lift weights and things like that, they want to see those numbers go up. And it's amazing how when those numbers go up, the body composition changes, and sometimes they end up looking leaner, more muscular, and less body fat. But we want to make sure that our focus is not necessarily just on those numbers going down, because that's not going to mean anything at the end of the day.
Totally. So I guess it goes back to the subject that we've chosen for this series, and why we think that quote unquote weight loss isn't actually your goal. What if your goal is to decrease your body fat, increase your muscle mass,
look better, feel better,
feel better, fit into your clothes better, decrease your metabolic age?
I mean, you think about it, you want to lose weight. I mean, we can always drain a couple of liters of blood out of you. That's a couple of kilos right there.
Get a flu for a few days and not eat some food.
Remove a couple of bones if you want. There are lots of different ways to do it. It doesn't mean you're going to look better. It's funny how when people actually end up losing muscle, like when they get sick or something like that, or they stop training for a while and they lose muscle, their numbers go down, they end up looking worse. Yeah. They end up looking sometimes bigger, sometimes more bloated, sometimes a little bit rounder, because that shape is not there. And the muscle is what gives us shape at the end of the day.
So I hope that this has given you a few kind of insightful points to think about as to how you might be able to change your mindset around what your goal actually is, and getting more specific about what exactly you would love to look or feel like, rather than just saying, I want to lose weight.
But we're not done there. I'm going to jump in with our last point that I want to go through. And it's an interesting shift that we have seen across the entire health and fitness industry. And it's something that I've been feeling, and I know Amanda has been feeling too. And it was affirmed for me the other weekend when I was working in Sydney. I got to go to the National Fitness and Wellness Expo and go through a number of seminars, and we looked at a lot of statistical data. And that data...
Why don't you tell them about the type of people that were presenting there? Because I think that's important as to why this information is relevant.
Okay. They were all CEOs of a lot of the big fitness companies and brands around the world. But the important thing is the data has come not from them. And I want to take them out of the equation because they're not really relevant. The data has come from the average person. The average person that is going to gyms, that is signing up for programs, that is going to personal trainers. And this data tells us now that probably up to about 2019, people were getting involved in activity and fitness to look good. That was the single biggest reason. Always to look good. It was an aesthetic goal. It was always, I want to look XYZ in my swimsuit, or I want to look good for summer, or all of that. Now, the data has told us that there is a massive shift in why people are getting active. And that shift is because they want to feel good. Looking good is a good byproduct. We're still getting those people. But it's changed now to just wanting to feel good. And that's so many different things to many different people. It can be feeling good physically, feeling less pain, can be feeling good mentally, because mental health has been a huge issue, as we all know. And the statistical data tells us that mental health, the biggest contributing factor to people's mental health is exercise. And that data is there. And that's a fantastic thing for us because it tells us that the amount of exercise you do is directly related often to how you feel.
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting to notice that a lot of the health chains, I guess, now are starting to put those types of facilities into their into their gyms where people can actually go and have those types of things included in their gym membership.
Yeah. And I want us to realize too that we look at a certain program. Let's take, for example, a high intensity fitness class, something like we do, like Strong or Hustle or something like that. And people look at that and say, oh, the only reason I would do that class is to, get ripped or to look a certain way. The reality is that those kind of activities often make us feel a lot better. Physically, they might make us feel better to say, look, I've got more energy to do the stairs. I feel like I can get out of bed easier. I can do this better. But it also directly affects our mental health. Those programs are not just about, getting sweaty and all that sort of stuff. They directly link to your brain and how you actually feel. And you can walk away from those things feeling more confident, more energized, less stressed. And it goes on day by day to affect every little thing that you do.
Absolutely. I definitely know that I've had those sorts of conversations with clients that we see each week in our group fitness classes. Most certainly.
So it's important for us to realize now that keeping those fitness routines, getting involved in active exercise is going to change the way that you mentally perceive things every single day. It's funny how when people stop or they go, oh, I've got too much on at work, or I'm too tired to do that, or I've been doing this, how much then the mental health changes. The stress levels go up. We feel overwhelmed very quickly. We feel more pain quickly. All those sorts of things are directly affected. Our immune system is affected.
Yeah. And then that just goes down a whole other rabbit hole another webinar series about what happens when we're highly stressed.
So let's change the mindset away from I only do this activity, or let's say lifting weights or boxing or high intensity interval training or something like that because I want to lose weight. No. You want to look at those sort of programs or classes or activities as I do this as well because of my mental health. I do this so I feel better every day. And it takes away the stress from what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
So let's look at a big mental shift there.
So I hope that this has been a really insightful little webinar to listen to today. And if you've had a little bit of a light bulb moment or a golden nugget, we'd love to know about it. Drop it in the comments section below and let us know what may have shifted for you.
Yeah, and so we really appreciate you yet again tuning in and listening to our soothing tones over the airwaves. And we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar.